Hey friend, thanks so much for joining me on YouTube. The video that you're about to see was originally recorded via Facebook Live for our weekly Work It Wednesday series. Any links mentioned in the video will be down below in the description, so make sure you check those out. And I would love to have you join me over on our Facebook page for a weekly dose of tips and tricks for your direct sales business. Thanks for joining. Hey you guys, happy Wednesday. I'm super excited about this one, you guys. I'm so excited. Hey, this is Mary Haynes with Doggone Virtual, and I am coming to you today. We're dealing with our offices this week, you guys. We're tackling our offices, and I'm not going to show you the floor behind me, but mine is a hot mess. Just so you know, even though organized people can sometimes get behind in organizing and purging and all those other fun things, and we just had a crazy spring and summer, and so I got behind in a few things. And so my husband and I told him I was tackling, we share an office, and I worked on tackling our office, and between the two of us, we threw away, you guys, we literally threw away 2 bags, well, not we threw away, but recycled, and we had to donate a bunch of stuff. 2 bags of things just out of this one room in our house. So to say that you guys are not alone in this whole office organization, hey Tammy, paper nonsense is the truth. You're not alone, okay? Sometimes life gets in the way and we just lose focus and we can't remember where we put anything and we have to reorganize, or, you know, just stuff happens. So overwhelmingly this week, what I've heard from so many of you is paper. Paper, you guys are struggling with paper. We've got some sticky note lovers in here. I vividly remember my husband calling me one time. He was the master of sticky notes, like literally covered his desk. And he called me one time and he said, hey, can you go grab that sticky note off the kitchen counter, and it has like Joe or something on it, and I need the phone number off that. And I'm literally like flipping through the sticky notes and I'm like, dude, we got to break the sticky note habit. You know what I'm saying? So it is a love-hate relationship. It is. So the biggest thing today, guys, when we're talking about our offices, is we can't organize clutter. Same thing with your house. You can't organize clutter. It's just not going to work. Because if you've got clutter, when we define clutter, think of clutter like a weed. So a weed, by definition, is any plant that is in your yard or in your garden that you don't want there. Okay, that's a weed. That's the definition of a weed. So if you don't want it there, it's technically a weed. Even if it's a beautiful flower, it's still a weed because it doesn't need to be there. So your paper clutter, you guys, think about this as these are your weeds. These are your office weeds. So we are going to work on getting rid of that clutter and really kind of organizing, because when you step into your office space, and I am, again, working on kind of reorganizing mine. When you step into your office space, it needs to be a space where you can work, where you can be productive, where you can be efficient, where you're not like, where is that piece of paper? Okay. I think I posted this, but Newsweek, or maybe I wrote an article, I can't remember, but Newsweek published a study that the average American spends, I want to say it's like 2.5 days a year or something crazy like that. Some crazy number of days a year looking for stuff we already own. And that's, get this, guys, we're rifling through the papers, we're looking through the email folders, we're looking through all the things on our computer trying to find stuff. So this is where we have to really streamline so we can find the stuff we need, we can find it quickly, and we can get the job done. So here we go, you guys. So first step with paper clutter, okay? Purge. The first step is going to be to purge, you guys. I know this is, it's going to feel amazing when you do it, but it's a little scary at first because you're like, do I need this? Should I keep this? So the first step is going to be to purge. And I'm going to give you a tip. I hired, I guess it was about a year ago, I hired a professional organizer to come into my house and help me think through some stuff, because we were transitioning. We had transitioned out of all the baby things, and we were, you know, in full-blown teenager land. And like, I still had these spaces set up for my little kids that were no longer little kids anymore. They were big kids, as big as me. And so I really needed some help just thinking through it and just working through the process, because it is, when you're having to make those decisions about whether to keep something or whether to get rid of something, it is very emotional, you guys, and it can be very taxing on your brain. So I needed someone to come in that did not live in my space and was not part of my family to say, hey girl, you got to get rid of that. And so one of the things she said when we tackled all of our school supplies, so school supplies are something I'm very attached to because we homeschool, all the crafty things, right? So one of the things she said that she learned being a certified organizer is that the more you touch something, the more attached you are to it, okay? So that's something to remember with our paper. She said when she goes into offices and has to help them reorganize, she actually makes them wear gloves. So the more you touch something, the more attached you are to it. So when you think about that pile of your catch-all pile of stuff in your house or your office, you've probably moved that pile 4 or 5 times, right? So you mentally are attached to that thing. It's hard to throw it away. So we got to break some habits, with the whole paper thing. So when you're thinking about purging, this is like, I say that because if you've had stuff sitting there for a while and you've moved it to 4 or 5 places, it's going to take some mental agility to kind of get through it and to think through it. So you may want to have a buddy, a spouse, a child, somebody who is going to help you with this process. So the first general rule when you're purging is, do I really need it? Do I really need it? I know we got lots of touch to me times. Yep. I'm guilty too, Tammy. I'm guilty too. So general rule of thumb is, do you still need it? Am I really going to need this? I do this with my husband all the time in the garage. Or do we really need like 5 hammers? Do we really need that many? I mean, I know there are 6 of us, but we're not all going to be hammering something at the same time. You know what I'm saying? So do we really need it? If it's no longer valid, like coupons, okay, or it's a magazine that's like 3 or 4 years old, or it's anything that is just outdated, if it's no longer valid, you guys, don't keep it. Recycle that bad boy, okay? Expired coupons, check registers from 1997, utility bills from 2004. I mean, you guys, we got to start thinking through, do I actually need this thing? Do I need this thing? So that's kind of the general rule when you're purging. I know, with direct sales, we have all these great ideas, like we have workbooks and we have all these things that we've printed, but the truth is we're never going to open that binder again. Okay? Or is that information, with Facebook, stuff changes all the time. With social media, stuff changes all the time. Is the information in that book from 5 years ago even still valid? Is it time to get rid of it? Make sense? So that's what you're going to ask yourself is, do I really still need it? Do I need it truly? Am I at a place in my life where I still need this thing? So that's the first thing that you're going to tackle. Okay, next step is going to be to organize, you guys. And organizing what's left, you have to purge first. So I just want to give you a couple of examples of organizing. So there are some paper things that I like to have paper of, you guys. If you're taking a course, so I'm taking a really kind of gnarly course right now on blogging, and so I have my workbook, and it's labeled, okay? So I have my workbook in here because I need the paper, but it's not in a pile on my desk. It is in a binder labeled so that I can find it when I need it. If you have things that you refer to a lot, you guys, this is something that I started doing. So like thinking through when I'm just throwing stuff out there. I'm spitballing today. Thinking through stuff that you're going to use to create other things. Thinking through stuff like I use Canva to create stuff, okay? So I have a printout of all the templates that I have in Canva that I use regularly, because when I'm trying to think through creating a document, I need to be able to see it. I need to be able to look at it. If there is a workbook or a training manual that you have in your business that you refer to all the time, don't keep pulling it up on your computer, guys. It's okay to have that paper and to flip through it and to look through it. But if there's a section or a part of it or something that you literally never look at, get rid of it. Only keep the stuff that you actually use. I've also got stuff in here like inspirational stuff that I want to create or want to, build. So I've got the samples in there so I know where to find it later. Makes sense? So it's okay to keep the paper stuff. It's okay to keep the paper stuff. You can also use accordion files. Accordion files are a really easy way to organize your receipts. So I was going through all my receipts from this year, and I found a few laying around because I told you I was busy spring and fall, or spring and summer. And so my daughter and I just made, I didn't have another accordion file, so I just used envelopes, you guys, and I just divided it up by month. I labeled it January, February, March, April, May. So I had that. You can, it's easier to use one of those expandable files, stick those in there. Have the tools ready to go when you're organizing the paper. A file folder or file accordion, sorry, a file cabinet is fine. I also have one that's just, it's just a plastic one with a flip top. You can get it at any office supply store. Has hanging folders on it. Make sure you've got some hanging folders and some other, you know, file folders, that's the name of it. File folders ready to go. I also like to use a label maker. So I want to put a label on it. So 5 months from now, I'm not going, crap, what's in that folder? I don't even remember. Why did I keep that? Okay. Things like that, you guys, those papers, you're going to have to organize them in some way, shape, or form. You're going to have to organize it. That's what you're going to have to do. All right. So we purge and then we organize. And then the third thing, you guys, is we have to change the behavior. We got to change the behavior. So once we clean out the mess and we get the mess under control, then we want to keep it organized so we don't have to do it again. You don't want to have a situation where a year from now you're like, oh my gosh, I totally like organized all my stuff and now it's a mess again, right? So the way to change the behavior and keep it organized, you're gonna first of all, I heard this one a lot from emails. First of all, enroll in paperless billing, you guys. Enroll in paperless billing, all right, or paperless statements. You should not have to get your water bill in the mail. You should not have to get your electric bill in the mail. You should not have to get your phone bill in the mail, bank statements. Everything can be digital, and then that cuts down dramatically on the amount of paper that you actually have coming into your house that you have to deal with, right? So you want to make sure that if you can go paperless, you guys, go paperless, all right? So do that as much as possible. So every time you get a statement for like the next couple of months, look at it and go, can I go paperless? Go online and take care of that real quick, right? That will reduce the amount of stuff that comes into the house. The next thing, and this is just 3 simple questions. Where's Leslie Boyd? Because she's going to love this. It's 3 things, all right? You're going to ask yourself every time you get a piece of paper. So let's pretend that this piece of paper comes into my house. It comes in the mail, comes in a training manual, comes in some form or fashion. It just comes in the door, right? I'm going to ask myself 3 things. Do I save it? Do I need to save it, right? Is it something important? Do I need to take action on it, or do I need to get rid of it? Okay? There's no other option. There's no other option. Do I need to, if I need to save it, what do I need to do? I need to go find its home. I don't need to let it pile up. I'm going to go find its home, and I'm going to go put it in its house so it can stay there. Do I need to save it? Well, there's a couple of options there, you guys. If it's, think about your digital bills and stuff. If you're doing a home office deduction, or you're doing, maybe you have rental properties, or maybe you have things where bank statements for your business that you want to keep, right? You don't have to have them in paper. You can save them on your computer. I personally love Evernote. Love Evernote. You can use Evernote to actually take a picture with your phone with the app and scan it into your Evernote account. So it will go into a note there. So I actually have any receipts that I take action on immediately. Some of them, like I said, I don't. It was a crazy year. I will scan that, and then I have it organized by month for my business. So it's all stored electronically. So at the end of the year, I have all my receipt copies. They're digital. I don't have to do anything with paper. I don't have to touch the paper, okay? So you can file it electronically. There's also a free program called Adobe Scan that I found out about, you guys. It's free. You know, I love Adobe. We use the PDFs all the time, right? So Adobe, you can do Adobe Scan, and you can scan the documents right on your phone, right? And then you can save it on your computer. You could save it in your Dropbox. You could put it in your Google Drive. You could save it wherever you want to. One recommendation, though, if you're going to save everything electronically, is make sure that you have some sort of backup system, okay? If your computer crashes and you lose all your things, you're gonna freak out. You're gonna be like, I knew I should have saved the paper, right? So make sure that you've got some sort of backup system. That's why I love Evernote. It's all online. I don't have to worry about it crashing or my computer crashing, and I can access it from anywhere. If you have to save it, you could also put it in your filing cabinet or your accordion file, something, go put it in its home. Another thing is if it's important documents, let's pretend you had a baby and you got their birth certificate in the mail. Where should that go, right? We don't want to get rid of that. I actually have digital copies of mine so I can pull them up, my kids, so I can pull them up from anywhere. But I also put the other ones in our fireproof box. If you don't have a fireproof box, that's probably something you should think about. You can get them on Amazon or any office supply store. So that has all of our birth certificates, marriage license, passports, anything that's going to be a pain in the butt to replace if something happens to our home, okay? So fire safe box. And then again, I always save that stuff electronically too, just in case I need it. So there's the save it. Do you need to take action on it? Is this a bill you need to pay? Is this a phone call you need to make? Is this an email you need to send? And a thing that you need to RSVP for? So what I have, I'll show you guys. It's, I'll show you off to the side right there. I have my magnetic board. I love this, but it has a little, I have a little magnetic box. So this is all my take action items. You see I got some envelopes in there. So these are things that I have to take care of. And so I have time set aside in my schedule that each week that I dig into this pile and I clear it out. I take whatever action I need to take on this. But this is not my catch-all. This does not catch all the extra papers. It only catches the things that I need to take action on. That's it. And then once I take the action, it either goes to get rid of or save, wherever it needs to go, right? Wherever it needs to go. And then to get rid of, well, that one's pretty simple, you guys. Trash can, file 13, okay? So you wanna make sure you're putting it in the trash or you're recycling it, whatever you have to do there. You can recycle lots of things. So make sure you guys are recycling those because you don't wanna, you know, fill up landfills with paper because we got rid of all the paper. So get rid of it. Just get rid of it and be at peace about getting rid of it. Because I can tell you when you don't have the piles of paper and the clutter around your space, your workspace, your brain is going to function so much better, okay? So here's what we're gonna do, you guys. I thought this would kind of be fun. We're gonna do a paper clutter challenge. Like, I'm so excited because I've been clearing so much paper and my brain feels so much freer. So we're gonna do a paper clutter challenge. So today is Wednesday. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I'm going to be posting on our page some things to look at for getting rid of paper clutter. I'm going to give you guys some challenges, some things to do. So make sure if you've got any friends that are struggling with the paper monster too, you can tag them in the instructions, you can tag them in the post, bring them on over. Bring them on over and we're gonna do a paper challenge. We're gonna do a paper clutter challenge. You guys can post photos, whatever you want. You can post a photo, that'd be super fun, of all the stuff that you're getting rid of. And if you don't have a lot of paper clutter, you're like, dude, I'm already organized in this area, then show us, man, show us. Show us how you're organizing your stuff. Are you thinking about anything differently? Are you reorganizing, anything like that, all right? So that's the challenge this week, you guys, is getting rid of the paper. You could have a big bonfire at the end of the week. That's what you could do. That would be super fun. Saturday night bonfire, light up all the papers. It'd be great. That'd be super fun. S'mores and everything. So that's our challenge this week, is to get rid of the paper clutter, you guys. That's the challenge. So hopefully you will join me in the challenge. I'll be posting an article tomorrow on organizing your office and give you some more tips and tricks. And I'm excited. My office is almost done. It takes time and energy and brain power, and there are some days I'm like, I just can't think and process anything else. We've had to do some revamping in our office, and now my husband wants to move around the furniture. So I'm like, okay, so I'm having to reset myself. So we're gonna have this office all put together by the end of the weekend. All right, you guys, I hope you have a fabulous, fabulous end of your week, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye, guys.